This is the only flying hospital of its kind in the world. It's called Orbis.
And in third world countries, one of the biggest medical concerns is proper eye care. And that's what's prompted companies and doctors from all over the U.S. to make their contributions to
Project ORBIS was formally christened today out at Ellington Air Force Base. The converted DC-8 jetliner will now be used to share new techniques of preserving vision with eye surgeons all over the world.
Our story is about a private project, and one of its beauties is its simplicity.
DME north of Lima, we're at
Enter Project ORBIS, a donated DC-8 carrying a cargo of made-in-America miracles. The men up front are retired airline pilots, while the medical team on board seems straight off an Ivy League campus. After stops in Jamaica, Panama, Ecuador, and Colombia, they landed here in Lima at the invitation of the Peruvian government. When the president saw a Peruvian doctor using American know-how to save the sight of a Peruvian citizen, the Falklands and all the other international crises must have seemed a long way off, at least for the moment. Because he was so obviously impressed by what he saw, it seemed likely that President Belunde might establish an eye bank, which means in the future there may not be as many scenes as this one in Peru.
Orbis was invited to the Republic of Cyprus in the Eastern Mediterranean. It was a mission that provided one of the strongest examples yet of the impact an Orbis program has on two levels. And it was here, too, that Orbis was to achieve its most rewarding diplomatic feat, the bringing together, for the first time in 10 years, of Greek Cypriot and Turkish Cypriot doctors in a common humanitarian endeavor.
And the United Nations has honored a program designed to help the millions of people being blinded by an untreated eye disease. That story from Science Editor Jules Burton.
The UN honored Project ORBIS, the flying, teaching eye hospital that has treated patients on 4 continents as it entered third year of nonprofit work.
The Orbis visits to Moscow and Leningrad, a goal of the project for over 2 years, will be a product of glasnost, the policy of openness introduced by Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev. Orbis invited some of the world's foremost eye specialists to participate in this ophthalmic summit. 10 countries were represented.
It's an extraordinary project in promoting cooperation and understanding and bringing people together from all parts of the world.
The United States and Cuba have been adversaries ever since the Cold War began, but here's a warming trend. Doctors from both countries now are working together to save the sight of Cuban children.
All right, Mother Teresa continues her good works, recently visiting a special airplane equipped to provide medical care for the needy. The Nobel Peace Prize winner boarded the flying hospital in Calcutta, India. Mother Teresa praised the doctors on board.
The DC-8 that was used when the Orbis project was launched has been retired and replaced with a refurbished DC-10 that makes its maiden voyage tomorrow morning from New York to Beijing. This was possible thanks in part to the generosity of Mr. Ueltschi, who donated $6 million to help Orbis purchase the plane. Oliver Foote is president of Orbis International. This morning he's out at LaGuardia Airport in the operating room of the world.
Well, I think the biggest change that we made was that we realized in our objective to get rid of unnecessary blindness that we couldn't just rely on teaching doctors through the Flying Eye Hospital sight-saving surgical skills. And we moved into really developing more sustained, ongoing programs in specific countries where blindness is a major problem. And it was in fact the Flying Eye Hospital that created that relationship with these countries. In Ethiopia we now have an office, and it was our first country that we started an ongoing permanent program, and we have an office with about 25 people working right out into the bush, into the rural areas where blindness mainly exists. And blindness is caused a lot by poverty, and so that we're dealing with the whole social issues. We then moved into China, where we deal mainly with children, because children are born blind, and we have a team there. And we have a team now in Vietnam, which is very, very exciting. And we have a team in India, working right out into the rural areas, and a team in Bangladesh. And we've also got people working in Central and South America permanently, and more building capacity within those countries so that they can deal with their own problems of blindness. And so we have moved from just being a surgical training organization more into a development organization dealing with the problem of blindness.
And together with a coalition of nearly 20 other organizations, including the American Academy of Ophthalmologists, the World Health Organization, Orbis International, Helen Keller International, the International Eye Foundation, together we have created a global initiative that will save the sight of some 100 million men, women, and children throughout the developing world by the year 2020.
I'm thrilled to see that from the time of our first visit in 1997, when ROP was really not on the horizon as a significant cause of blindness in children, to see now that the doctors are able to screen and treat this disease, prevent blindness in babies, and that Vietnam itself has become a powerhouse of economic energy.
Ueltschi reports on Orbis's historic mission to Libya.
Eliminating blindness around the world. That's the inspired vision of Orbis International. Orbis says it was the first international health charity to work in Libya since sanctions were imposed in 1992.
We work together in spite of different language, religion, culture. We feel we are one man.
We are one man, one family. Wonderful,
Thank
wonderful.
you.
Thank you.
Together, we did it together. Both Dr. Vittori, many phone calls across the Atlantic. Emails, frantic. Could we get in here? Dr. Vittori has been... What Orbis does, apart from restoring sight and sharing skills, it's a catalyst. It's like a fire when it comes into a country. It motivates governments, heads of state, leaders to put more money into fighting blindness.
Thank you all. That's it. I think that's it. Thank you. Would everybody just I'd like to give a particular big round of applause to Oliver? Fantastic. Thank you.